get ready, she's going to also take you through on how to install it and set it up. So help me welcome Peace in the chats. So let's welcome her in the chats. While she's coming up, let's welcome her in the chat. Let me see your, yeah, thank you. Izuchuku, thank you. Thank you, guys. I can see you're clapping. Thank you. I can see you guys are clapping. Awesome. Thank you, Julia. Thank you so much. So let's welcome her. Thank you. Welcome, Peace, for joining us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. Thank you, Esther, for the wonderful introduction. I think I don't need to introduce myself anymore. So quickly, I'll just run us through the holistic view of what we are to expect today. Let me share my screen, please. Okay. Let me know when you can see my screen. I'm sharing my screen now. Okay. Is my screen visible? Please confirm on the comment. Is it visible? Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay, great. So this is what we'll be looking at today. We'll see how we can install Power BI and set it up. Also, we'll see how we can import data from multiple sources, but our focus is going to be on Excel. Then we'll build simple dashboard and visualization, after which I will be giving us tips on how to avoid common beginners mistakes. This is very essential because when we just start out, it's more of design and color that we'll be thinking about rather than the real impact. So we will take a look at this so that when next we are designing dashboards or we are creating visualization, we'll be focused to what is needed. So before I start, let me even define what Power BI is, right? Power BI is a Microsoft cloud-based business intelligence tools that collects information, data from multiple sources and giving a view after analysis or a report that will inform decision makers to make the right decisions. Okay, so let's quickly look at how to set up this Power BI because it is very important. Without setting up the Power BI, you can't even work with Power BI. Okay, so the first approach would be if you're using a Microsoft enabled laptop, you just go to Microsoft Store. So I have it here. If I click on this and I go to Microsoft Store, it opens a prompt for me here. I go over here to just search for Power BI to search for Power BI desktop. When I click on it, it takes me to this dialog here. But because I already have Power BI installed on my PC, I do not need to download. So it will just show me only this link to open it. So the reason why it's best to follow this prompt to download Power BI is because it will be updated automatically. You don't have to worry about updates. Consequently, maybe during the course of your implementation with Power BI, you do not need to worry about um, updating it. But another approach would be to go to your browser. I have it open here on my browser. You just type Microsoft Power BI desktop. So if I click on this link, over here, it takes me to this prompt here where I just have to hover around, drag this thing down, and I would see a download. So if I click on here, it will download a file for me called the Power BI setup file. So I just need to keep on following the instruction, which will just be a little click here and there, a little allow, and a little done, and that will be it. I hope I'm not too fast. Let me slow down a bit for people that are following as I am speaking. Let me know if you were able to get it done with the two suggestions I have suggested. Okay, while we are trying to get that done, let me say for people that are using Mac um, OS, it's not going to be that easy to download. I think that you can't even download. There's a paid version and something called parallel computing that you have to use to get that done. So um, the class is not focused on that. But if you're still finding it difficult, I can share you a link that will guide you on how to get that done. Okay, so that we do not waste time. So please let me know if you've been able to download it and if you're having any issues downloading it. I'm talking about people that are using Windows that have checked the store, Microsoft App Store, or um, um, prompted it on maybe a Google Mail to a Google a Google browser rather, a Google browser. So just check if you can or if you have the setup downloaded before we proceed. Okay. So I'll be waiting. I'll be waiting to get that feedback before I proceed. Do we have that feedback? Okay, I see some people are saying that it's done. Some people are saying they are still downloading it. So I'll just give one more minute. Okay, okay. I'll just okay. So do you need me to run you through the process of downloading it again? I was told I am fast. I don't want to be too fast. I want everybody to follow this process. So, do you need me to run through the process again? It's just a pretty few steps, right? Just click, allow, and done. You don't need to do any special thing in the setup. That's if you're going through the setup. If you're going through the Microsoft app, I think you just need to download it and open it. So let me know. Okay, I'm still giving us time. Some more time. Okay. All right. So I'm going to move over to okay, I should redo it. Okay. So I just went to my search button. You can always find this on your PC, right? And I just click on this. I didn't even need to search. There's this start button here. When I click on it, it will give me the list of what's available here. I want to go to Microsoft Store. I click on it. You can search Power BI here. For me, because I've searched that before, is already here. So I'll just click on Power BI desktop. Okay, so because I had already downloaded Power BI desktop, I do not need to download. I only need to open. So it's showing here. So if I am to start, I'll just open it. But for those of us that do not have it, you would see a download. You can use this. Another way to do it is to go to your Chrome browser. When you get to your Chrome browser, just type Power BI. Just type it. Download Power BI. It will bring you to something like this. Let me take it back. So I just typed Microsoft Power BI desktop and I got this here. You might get a bunch of other things, but just search for something that looks like this. So if I click on download Microsoft Power BI desktop, I'll get this view here. So I just need to drag this pin over here. Here I have it, what I am looking for. So I'll click on download. I do not want to download this because I already have it. But let me just show you what it looks like. So you see here it's downloading. So I'll wait for it to download. And after downloading, I would find this on my download. Then I can follow the prompt and just allow, click on all of the direction to get to the final view. Okay, I think we'll be able to get it this time. So for those of us that have downloaded it, when you open it, you see something like this. When you open it for the first time, you see something like this. So I can either choose to create a blank report, which I would choose, or I can just choose from my source of data. Let's say my data is in one lake, is in Excel, is in SQL Server, or whatsoever form. I just click on it. Or if I have created, maybe I have made a dashboard before, if I've made a dashboard before, I would see all my dashboard that I have created below. So on my recent. So this is what you would likely see for the first time if you haven't created a dashboard before. So I'm just going to click on start. Okay. I'm getting report that I should slow down. Okay. I will slow down. I hope I'm slow enough. So when you open the report, this is what you would see. Okay, you will see this view here. That's the first thing you will see. So this here is called the canvas. This is where you build your reports. You do those beautiful insights you see people create. Okay, this is where you're going to see it. So Power BI is divided into um three main components, but now I see they've added the DAX. This is a DAX Studio and TMDL. But for starters now, I don't want us to overwhelm ourselves with a lot of things that are capable, because trust me, there is a lot. But the good news is that you don't need to master a lot for you to be an effective analyst or a business intelligence analyst. Just a few things will do. Just know how to navigate. And with time, when there is a need, you will start learning others. um by the virtue of today's class, I can say that you'll be able to create your own dashboard, a simple dashboard to start with, before you start adding other things. But before I even proceed, why do we even need this Power BI thing of a thing? Why don't we use other things? We have PowerPoint where reports are shared. We have Excel. Right? This is because Power BI makes it easier and makes it easy to automate. You don't have to do repetitive tasks. You just have to set it, and data will start entering into it, and your insight will be a continuous delivery. Okay, that is why most people would opt for Power BI or Tableau or visualization tools that is of this nature. Okay, so if you're looking here, we'll see a lot of features around here. This, as I mentioned, is the canvas, right? This is where you build all your dashboard. This is where you build your charts. You do whatsoever you would want to display to your stakeholders at the end of the day. You can see here that I can still click here to import my data from the sources available here, and it's not limited to this. This is just a preview of maybe the top sources that analysts usually import data from, but there are other sources. Okay, but before I show you other sources, I want us to take a tour around the main component. Towards this view here, clicking on it and nothing is happening. This is because this is where we are. This is the reporting view, right? This is where we create our dashboard, like I mentioned before. And if you take a look at my right here, you will see various charts, right? As I'm hovering around it, you're seeing a stack bar chart, a stack column chart, a whole lot, to even to a card. You even have um to you can even get more visuals, right? Maybe you want to add a customized visual, you can get it by clicking on these three dots. Okay, let's not go deep into that. Just know that this exists. For now, this is our focus. And over here, we can see you can get your data from whatsoever source. You can transform your data. All of these things I will be showing us as we proceed, if needed, for this introductory class. So another view here you have is a table view. See, I've clicked on it. Now, because I do not have any information, I've not imported any table. By table, I mean data. Okay, I don't know if Esther has shared the sample data that we'll be using, so that we would follow through. So if that I have imported data, okay, you would have seen that there are information around here in form of a table, something similar to what you would see on an Excel sheet. Okay, but because I don't have any setup here, you see the tables here are empty. You're seeing a notification here saying you haven't loaded any data yet, which is very true. Okay, that is what the table view is for. You see the data that you brought in. You can transform this data here. You can say you want to maybe do a calculated column, which is simply just performing arithmetics on, okay, which is basically just performing arithmetic. But if you have your questions, I know I might be too fast. I will try to slow down, I promise you. But if you catch me being too fast, please remind me to slow down again. Okay. There's nothing here yet. I'm just building up the concept so that when we start displaying this, you can easily follow through. Okay, like I mentioned, this is the table view, and I clicked on this table view to come to this part, right? This is where we are supposed to see all our table that we've imported. Okay. The next view here is the model view. Okay, I've just clicked on it now, and we see what a model looks like, but this is just a placeholder for the model that we will bring in later. Okay, now there's no table, so we don't have any model here. So what is a model?
Someone said I'm lost.
Okay, someone is saying that he or she is lost. So tell me where you are so we can pick up from there. I really want everybody to follow through, so that,
I was looking for this thing. Very fast. I don't finish already.
okay, okay. Let's see, where were you lost? Please type in the comment section where you're lost, so that I believe some other persons are lost as well. I want everyone to be carried along so I can go back. I'm just taking us on a tour of the interface of Power BI desktop. So we haven't done much. Just tell me where you are lost, so we'll pick you up from there and we'll all go together. Okay. Please let me know when the comment has been dropped, Esther. Okay. I see you just downloaded and you don't know how to go. So just follow the prompts. Click OK, OK. Just done, 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 done. You don't even need to click on much things. There is pretty much no special thing. You can always come back to add what you want to add, right? Just click on allow, done, done, done. Just keep on proceeding till you get to the final stage. But if you are confused about what to select, you can just drop the question so that we would tell you the best option to select. Okay. Me too. Okay, so I'm back, and I hope that you have downloaded it and you are here. Okay. So if you see the page when you set it up, you would see a blank page. Just click on that blank page, or maybe I should just close this up and let's try it again. So I will just search for Power BI desktop and I'll click on it. So you see something like this. It's coming up when you open it after setting it up. You see something like this. So I'm clicking on this blank page because that is what I want us to start with. So I'm going to give us a few minutes because I want to take this steady and slowly, right? So I'm giving us a few minutes, let's say 5 minutes. I believe by then everybody would have set up. Okay.
Hello, everyone. Please confirm you can hear me. Confirm you can hear me clearly. And so I dropped some comments. I dropped some comments and we discovered that some persons were not following. We discovered that some persons came late, and that's why I've been able to put down the step-by-step process that she listed the other time for the installation. So if you did not meet the instructions she gave for the installation of Power BI, please follow the steps I shared in the comments. It will help you. And then I would also like you to confirm if you have successfully installed Power BI so we can move on to the next thing. Like I said before, we have an incredible teacher, right? She's going to, and please let it be interactive. If you have any questions, drop it in the comment. I can see the comment. I will draw her attention. I will tell her she should slow down. Whenever I see slow down, I will tell her to slow down. Whenever I see that you want her to explain again, I would inform her to explain again. So please, this session is for, I don't want a situation where we would rush and then you will now come back. Of course, it is okay for you to come back again to listen, to watch, but then I also want you to get something out of this class, notwithstanding. So if you discover that she's too fast, tell us in the comments and I will draw her attention. If you want her to go back to the steps she took before, tell me and then we will tell her to take it again. So please, if you are set, tell us in the comments and then we'll move on. We have a lot of things for you. So please, the most important part is the installation and the setting up. If you don't get that installation, the other things will be a bit difficult. So, and that's why we want to ensure that everybody gets the installation, everybody sets the Power BI up successfully, and then we can proceed with it. And you know, she had already done that, and then she explained the various canvas, everything. She had already done the explanation. So we don't want you to miss out on anything. If you have set everything up, let's move on. If you haven't set it up, please tell us so that we can slow down a bit. I know we've given you some time, but we want you to also follow along as she's showing you the various things she's going to do. And like I said before, I've shared the data set already. I'm also going to be sharing it to the WhatsApp channel. I'm also going to be sending it there so that you can see it. Yes, there will be it's going to be recorded, so you can go back and watch it again, right? And it will also be good for you to be here. Don't just depend on the recorded session or the recorded version of it. It will be good for you to be here also, so that if you have any questions, you can easily ask her the questions you want, right? You can easily ask her and then she would take you through it. So I'm very excited for this class and I know that you're going to gain a lot of things. So please don't forget, if you have any questions, send it in the comments and then I will draw our attention. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm going to be calling her back so she can join us. Thank you. So please, while we're waiting for her to come back, let's set everything up. Let's ensure that everything is set up. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask them in the comments. Yeah, I can see Ojela B, installation completed. I'm glad to hear that. Timothy, all set. Thank you very much for that. Empero, thank you so much. I know you joined the first class that we had, and then you are here again to enjoy the session. Thank you so much for joining. Okay, Forty says we can move on. Yes, we're going to be moving on right away so that we can enjoy the rest of the session. Thank you very much. Does not show me. Okay. Back to stage.
Okay. Am I audible? Please confirm if I am audible. Okay. So I'm going to start from where I stopped. Okay, I'm going to start not exactly where I stopped, from the canvas part. I said Power BI desktop. So when you open a blank Power BI desktop, this is the first thing you would see. Okay, and this is called the canvas path, right? And it's on the report view. That is where we are. So there are three major components, and Dark Studio and TML. Okay, these are the three major components we'll be focusing on now. So if I click on the report view, like I mentioned earlier, so you see we're on the canvas. You can either import your data or um, import from SQL Server. But before we even jump into importing, let's take the tour, like I mentioned. So on my right here, I have the visualization pane. So here is where we get to see all the charts, the graph, the line charts, the bar charts, the pie charts, and all of those things that we would need to create visualization. Okay, and let's move on to the next component, which is the table view. Okay, I just clicked on it, and here we see there is a message saying that you haven't loaded any data yet, which is true because I haven't imported any data. So if I brought in any data, or if I bring in any data, I would see it here. Okay, it will be in a format as an Excel sheet. You know how we have data on Excel sheet. There is none here, it's blank. Okay, so I will go over to the model view here. Okay, I'm clicking the model view. So I have a template of how a model view looks like. With nothing in it, with nothing in it, because there is no table that has been brought in. Okay, let me explain the concept of model view. Okay, let me explain the concept of model view. Model view is where your tables interact. Okay, this line that you're seeing as one table and the other table that you have in your report. Okay, what do I mean relationship? If you come to my family, what would suggest that we are family would likely be my surname, right? So if you want to trace me to my family, you start with people that are bearing the same name. Okay, that's the closest easy example I can give. But in the space of data, relationship are usually things that are unique. They are primary key, secondary key. That is not the class we are having today, but just know that they have to be something to relate two tables together for the table to have interaction. Okay, for example, in the data we have a customer table, we have a product table, and we have the sales table. Okay, let's assume that one of these table is the customer table. We will have a customer ID in that table that will identify the customer. And on the sales table, which is the record of the sales that is made, okay, for a customer that buys an item, when I want to store the information about their purchases, I would have the customer ID. So it's the customer ID from this customer table that is giving me the information about the customer, and this information about what I sold. Okay, is from the customer ID that these two table relate to each other. So there will be the relationship will be formed on that. Same goes to product. The product that the customer bought will have an ID, right? And I will find the ID in the product table. In the product table will be descriptions about the product. And in my sales table, I will still have the information of the product that the customer bought so far. Okay, so that is the simple talk. So let's go on to see this in practice. But let me ask the question: are we following? I hope I wasn't too fast. I'm still going to go over all of these things that I mentioned again. It's just for me to give you an overview so that it will be easier for us to understand what I'm doing in real time as I am doing it. So are we clear on this part, or do we have questions? Okay, I'm waiting. Any questions so far? Yes, yes, they do.
You said how?
Okay, you're asking how the table interacts through different tables. Okay, so there are primary keys, there are foreign keys. Let me go over here. Though there would have been a better picture to display this. I think when I'm displaying it, I will tell you what it is. But primary my customer table now, the customer ID here is the primary key, right? That, and it is unique in this instance because no two customer will have one identity. Just like your identification number, no two person has that same identity. But this same primary key, when I find it in my sales table, is a foreign key. Why is that? This is because although no two persons have a primary key, same id, but when they are in this table they can appear multiple times. So if I'm looking at my sales table, I would see a lot of primary key. So if I'm looking at my sales table, I would see a lot of primary key. So that's I would see a lot of customer ID. So in that instance, that is the foreign key, and they interact together. And in this relationship, it will be a one to many relationship. Okay. Um, I hope that answers your question. Okay. So I hope it answers your question. So let's go over to importing data. I think that is the next action that we need to take. Okay, importing data from Excel. Yes. So before I even import the data from Excel, this is where the easiest way to import it. I see it here. But let's just explore other sources because most of the time you are not going to be given an Excel. It might be information from a website that you want to analyze. It could be information from maybe a database without providing you an Excel. So in that instance, you just have to click on this get data.
The second approach, ahead of searching for those,
Hold
you
on,
should search
give
for
me a
them.
moment. Yes, let me see. There's a question. Um, Please can where can I download Power BI? So on someone is asking where they can download Power BI. So you can just go to your browser. Could be Chrome browser. Just type Microsoft Power BI desktop. Okay, you will see a list of things available, but just go with something that looks like this. Hold on, and you can see it in a moment. You'll be able to see it in a moment. Yes. So what I did here, I went to my Chrome, I just searched for this. I said Microsoft Power BI desktop, and I got this. So if I click on this, um it will take me to this place here where I would find a download button. If I click on it, it will download a setup file, which I'll just follow the prompt and get the Power BI desktop installed. Okay, I hope that is clear. So moving on, when you want to get your data, you can just click on this get data. I can double tap it if I want to open a wider view. Just taking a moment. So here there are different sources where we can put data from. We see our Excel that we want, okay, but let's not go there yet. So we have option of CSV file, JSON, folders, PDF, yes, package file, yes, from SharePoint, yes, you can do that, right? So if, for example, I want to import from a SQL server, I just have to click on it and connect. Okay, it will open another prompt for me. Here I have to put a server name, I have to put the database name, I have to choose whether I am importing the query directly or I'm just importing the query. So if I want to write it as a select statement, this is where I go to just say, oh, select star from maybe a table, from table ABC, right? If I click on OK, with all of the right connection strings that are needed, I would get my data imported. Okay, so that is the same for all of the approach, right? You just have to have the right website for website. You have to have the right direction for SharePoint. So if I'm clicking on SharePoint, I'm putting the SharePoint URL. So that's how to get to SharePoint. But today, since we are about getting our data from Excel, I'll just click on Excel workbook. So I'll connect. So this is the data I'm trying to bring in, which is my sample data. So I'll click on open. I hope we followed this. It will take a while. It's connecting. So remember what I did. I went to get data, I selected Excel, and I went to the folder where I downloaded my sample data, which was on my download. So for most of us, I don't know how our setup is. You could find it on your download or anywhere you have saved it. So when you click on it, it opens this, right? Because there are three sheets in that file that was shared. You would find these three sheets here. Okay, I have the customers detail, I have the details for product, and the sales details. Okay, so if I click on here or I hover around here, I would see the information that I'm trying to bring in. This just gives me a preview to say, oh, I can even use this to check, do is my data clean, do I have to do anything? Okay, I see that this part is clean, I don't have to do anything. I go over here to check, okay, this is my product details. It looks pretty clean. I don't need to do much or anything at all. And I see here that this is my order, my sales table. Here I will just quickly look at it. I'm seeing something that looks like a mistake, maybe a duplicated error, which I will treat later. Then I'm looking at all of these things, right? They seem pretty fine for me here. So I'll just go on to select all of this because I want to import them. So when I select all of this, I have selected them indeed. Unlike the other time, I was just doing a preview because I didn't click on or check the boxes. Okay. So if I click on transform, it will take me to a transformation. It will take me to a transformation, but I still have the option of doing that later. I still have the option to do that later. So I will be doing that later. Let me just click on load so that will bring this table into Power BI. So I just clicked on load and it will take some time before we get it into Power BI desktop. So you see it's loading, it's taking the time and it's loading. Okay, so we just loaded, and I hope we are all following because I just loaded mine here. And on this part where I usually would not find any information, I now have the tables displaying over here. Okay, so remember our table view here. So then when I clicked on it, we didn't see anything. But now if I click on it, we now have the information here. So we see now we have our customer ID and the whole of the information that relates to the customer table. So if I click on this product here, by my right here, I would have the view for the products. Here I see that I have my products, information, product name, product categories, band, and the cost price of the product. And if I click on this sales table, we see the informations about the sales, a order ID, which is unique to an order, the dates the customer made the order, the product ID to relate it to the product that the customer bought. We see the information about the customer, and the customer ID to identify the customer in case we want to map it to the information of the customer, and all of the things that the customer did in interacting with the company and the product. Okay, so before I proceed, I hope we got this, and I hope I am not too fast at this point. Should I carry on? I'm waiting for a signal to carry on. Are we following? Okay, what's the update? Should I carry on? And someone said no. No to what? You're not following, or I shouldn't carry on. Okay, okay. All right, I
Okay,
see.
someone said my table view is not showing
Your table view is not
is
showing.
not showing
Have you
any data.
imported? Are you sure you've imported the data? Because that could be the reason why you can't see anything when you go to your table view. You need to confirm if you really imported the data, because that would be the only reason why you're not seeing any information on your table view. But I just want to get few confirmation if you've been able to import this table into Power BI desktop. Just drop a yes, yes, so we can proceed. Are we getting yes?
Yes.
Okay, so since few people have been able to do that, let's move on. So you see now, I just clicked. Okay, let me do this again. I'm going to the model view. Remember, the last time we came here, we just saw the template, we saw no connection, but there will be something that we would witness once I click on this model view. So I just did this. Let me close this so that it will be clearer. You see that we now have defined tables, unlike the placeholder or the template we had before. So we have tables.
Is there a way you can repeat the process? Someone said he's not getting it.
Which process? What's the person not getting? Please, if you are going to take us to take us back and in line of you not getting it, I would appreciate you tell us where you stopped or where we missed you or you missed us, so we can just
Okay.
go there.
He said you should repeat the process of importing the data from Excel.
Importing the data from Excel. Okay, I will just show you how we did it. So for the person asking this, I'll take like maybe 30 seconds to show us. Please be attentive so that everybody can move on the same speed. Okay. So there's this get data here. You can choose to use Excel because it's Excel we're trying to import. So I am suggesting that we just use this get data. Okay, so we are trying to import from Excel workbook, so we are going to ignore all of these other um options here because they are not taking us to Excel. So if you click on the Excel workbook, mine is on my desktop, I mean my download. That is where mine is. So I will just click on it and click open. It will take a while and it will bring me here, right? I have the option to preview what I want to bring in, previewing it. So when I want to bring it in, I will select it, I'll select it. So I'll now click on load. Okay. So let me give us like few seconds to do that so that we can all be on the same page.
Okay, guys. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much once again for joining the session. Please, I would like to tell those who joined late that there will be sorry, this session is recorded. So instead of you taking us back, we don't we are not going to be doing that. We're not going to be going back to what we had already done before. So she's taking her time to handle this session. Please, can you confirm you can hear me?
Okay, I hope I'm audible. Like Esther mentioned, the section is recorded. If you miss anything, don't worry. You don't have to stress yourself. You can always have the recorded version so that you would take a look at it and see where you missed. I saw someone asking if you are to click on load or download. Load data or transform data. For this case, we are clicking on load data. You can also click on transform data if you have a transformation to do, but it doesn't matter because you can always transform your data and at any point in time. So for this, we clicked on load data. Okay. 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 Sorry, can you see me? Sorry for that slight distraction. Can you see me now? And can you hear me? I'm hoping you can see me. I'm hoping you can hear me. So I'll proceed. Okay, so I was trying to, the last time we talked about the modeling, that's where we are. So the model view here, we now have things that we can see around, and we see that Power BI is intelligent, right? It can tell the right connection to create. So I don't need to manually connect it. So it has already discovered that I want this my sales table is to be connected to this product table by the ID of the products, because that is the relationship they both have. It's able to tell that the customer table has to connect to the sales table using the customer ID. So it has done that connection. And if you see, you would find one and an asterisk. Okay, this is telling us that in this product table, this product ID is unique. Okay, and this asterisk symbol here, this is telling us that in this in this sales table, this sales this customer ID is not unique. There are many customer ID in this sales table, but in this one now, we have only one. So the name of this relationship is called one to many relationship, and the name of this schema here is called a star schema, because it looks like the shape of a star. They are connected. So even if I have like multiple tables, maybe I have information about location and I have another table about location, it probably would connect to this same, and it will just form a complete star schema. But this schema here is a star schema. Okay, so the next thing you would want to do if you're doing a report is to now explore your data, because it's not good to just dive into your data and start doing the transformation. If I say we should start building charts now, whatever we are doing will not make sense, because we don't even know what this data is all about. We don't know what it's telling, and we don't even know our goal at this point. Let's assume that we are a business intelligence analyst, that we are contracted to get insights from a company's products, right? Let's say that they didn't give us most of the information because those our stakeholders are not data literate. Okay, they are just trying to see how data can help them. They just contacted you and they say, oh, we have this data, we have this information, help us explore our data and see what you can give to us. Okay, let's assume that is the situation we are in right now. So we are seeing all of this table, and we are seeing our customer, our product, our sales table. First, I would advise is to check your customers. Okay, see what's available here. Remember, you're not only checking to see what you have here, you are checking to see whether this information is accurate. So for this instance, we have clean data. The female looks clean. The age group looks clean. But sometimes when we have a lot of data, we will not be able to tell this by just taking a glance, right? We might need to hover around here to see, okay, oh, I'm looking at this. I just click on this arrow here and I'm seeing, oh, all of this looks tidy. So this is a clean data. So I'm looking at this, I'm seeing, okay, female and male, this is a clean data. Same thing I'm doing here. At the same time, I'm already thinking of what are the insights I can generate from here that will help my customer make the informed decisions. Okay, I am seeing distributor, retail and wholesale. Okay, that means some of these customers are distributors, the other customers are wholesalers, some are just retail customers. So I'm seeing, okay, I'm having idea. Let's see who generates the most money. Should we pitch wholesaling? Is it the best for us? Is retail the best for us? These are the analysis I would like to do. Who are our major customers buying what? Is it female customers that are buying this particular product? Is it this? Is it that? These are the things that we will be looking at um, as we proceed. So next, I would check my product table. There is my product ID, my product name, category, my brand, my cost price. All of these things looks neat, so I don't think I would need any transformation on this part. Okay. I see my brand is okay, the cost price is just okay. So am I going to compare the prices, what is giving me revenue compared to the sales price? These are the information, these are things that I'm thinking. So you see, as you're exploring this data, checking it whether they are neat, you're also getting the idea of the kind of insight that you would give. So diving into it like that, it is not going to give you any good insight or um, good final output, because the idea is not to just show that we can plot graph or beautify or do a better design. It's not a graphic design that we are trying to impress our stakeholders with how beautiful our dashboard can. A beautiful dashboard without giving the insight and informing the stakeholders to make the best decision to get the outcome, okay, is it makes no sense. As business intelligence analysts, we are being valued by our impact. If we are in a department and at the end of the day the company is not making any money, they will just assume that they are just paying money for nothing. They might decide to wipe out that department. Nobody will say, oh, let's leave them. They build beautiful dashboards. It doesn't make any sense, it doesn't make any meaning to them. The only reason why they would want to sponsor that department or partner with that department is the insights that they get from the department, right? So that is our major focus. The major focus is to get the insight. After we've captured that approach of getting the best insight, the next thing we will think of is how to deliver that insight, because we don't want to lose our audience, right? For we to give the insights to the audience, okay, we have to get them to be in the position of receiving that insight. We have to prep their mind to see the insight that we want to show them, because sometimes we will find ourselves giving insight but nobody can use that insight. Why? Because we didn't get them to see the insight through our eyes. Okay, maybe I'll talk more on that when we are looking at tips to build an effective dashboard. But let's go on to transform this particular data here, because I'm already seeing something that is not supposed to be here. So if you take a look at this XX unit price, it seems like an importing error. There are nothing here, it's just blank. Just to avoid confusion, I can just choose to delete this one time. I don't really need to even transform, but yeah, because we want to see an instance how we will transform, let me show you how to do the transformation. So I was on this part where I did not find my transformation before, because I was just looking at the table tools. So if I want to transform this table and I'm looking at it here, I can't find anything to transform. The best thing I will do is to go to home. This will give me the view where I would find transform data. So if I click on this transform data here, it will take me to an interface that is called the Power Query Editor. Okay, it will open it here. So I see that it is on the customer table, but I am not transforming the customer table. What I want to transform is my sales table. So I'm going to be a bit slower here so that for those of us following us can follow what I am doing. So I am moving to the sales. I'm selecting the sales table. Okay, here is giving me an idea of everything. Let's pay attention, this is very important. So if we are looking at this particular header or schema of this table here, we are seeing something that looks like alphabet here, something that looks like a calendar out icon here, and something that looks like a number outcome here. This is because the IntelliSense in Power BI is trying to describe the type of data that is here. Okay, so the other ID here is a text data. That is why it's giving us this ABC. But if is not what I intend to bring in as. Maybe it's supposed to be a maybe a number. I can just click on this icon and change it to what I want it to be. But yes, I expect my other ID to be text like, because I'm not doing any calculation on it. Okay. For my date to other dates, yes, it's in the right format. I can choose to change it. I can choose to leave it like that. I'm leaving it like that because it is what I want it to be. Same with the customer ID. My quantity, yes, is in the numeric order. That is what I want. I'll come back to this part because we need to delete it because we do not need it. Here, percentage discount. We have this here. um we have warehouse ID. All of these are just in the right format as I want. So for this that I don't need. Let's deal with it. So I'm clicking on it. As I've clicked on it, if you look above these ribbons here, there are different things here. There are refresh property, da da da. But this is what I want. I want to remove this column. So if I click on this, it will either ask me, do I want to remove this particular column, or do I want to keep this column that I have selected and remove the other table? That is not what I want. I just want to remove this particular column. So I will remove it. So you see, we no longer have that column. Okay. And something to note, this deletion that we are doing here does not affect the Excel that we have. Remember, we brought in an Excel. That information is still there in your Excel. If you want to get it back, you can go back to your Excel and get it. It's still there. Okay, we are only deleting this copy that we brought in here. We are saying that we don't want it to be part of this copy that we brought in here. That's what we just did. Okay, and if you look at this, my right here over here, where you see a query setting property name, which is the table name sales, you would see all the steps that I've applied so far here. Okay, so far, see what the only step I've applied there, which is remove column. Okay, I just remove the column. So in case maybe there's a mistake, I didn't want that column to be removed, and maybe I want to bring it back, rather than going back to import the data afresh, I can just choose to undo this step. So see what happens now. As I remove this, I have back that column, but I'll go ahead and delete it because I truly do not need it. So I am deleting it. I now have the step as applied step here. Okay, whatever you do, there are a lot of transformation. Maybe in our next series, we will focus on cleaning data in Power BI. So these are the tools you can use to clean data here. You can use to edit and do a whole lot of things. But that's not our focus for today. So we are just going to stop at this, and we will save the transformation we've done. So to save that, you look at the ribbon here, you will find a close and apply here that I'm hovering around. So if I click the little arrow below, I would see, do I want to close and apply? Do I want to apply it and not close it? Or do I want to close it? So if I click on close and apply, I'll be applying this step that I just did here, and I will be closing this Power Query view. Okay, if I click on apply, I will only be applying it. I will not close this view. Maybe I want to just save this my transformation and continue with other transformation, I can choose this. If I want to just close it and I don't want to apply it, I can choose this. But what I want in this case is to close and apply, so I'm going to go with the close and apply. So I just did that. It will take time to load, and we'll see we no longer have that invalid column included. Okay, so that's the part about importing data. So we've seen the canvas view, we've seen the tables, which is where we are, and we've seen the relationship, which is our model view. So before we go on to build just a simple dashboard, before we talk about the tips, let me wait and get questions. Okay, so do we have any questions, please? Drop it on the comment section. Esther will be taking it, and we'll address it together. Thank you. Oh, I'm so sorry. I just discovered that I wasn't unmuted. So I'll take it again. Sorry about that. So let's assume that we are on this Canva and we want to transform a table. We're on the report view. I'll just go to my table icon, click on it, and because I'm on home, I can see my transform button, my transformation button. So I will just click on it and click on transform data. Give it a moment. It will open this Power Query editor dialog. Okay, so because by default it will be highlighting the first table it can find, and my transformation is not on this first table. My transformation is on the sales table. That's where I want to do my transformation. So for the sake of this, like I mentioned, I'm going to uncheck the I'm going to cancel the change. Okay, I see that I still have it because I did that before. Okay, let's assume that as the case may be, right? We don't need this unit price SSS because it seems to be an error. They are all null and blank, so it makes no sense. So we don't want it to be on our data. We just want to delete it. So if I click on it and I go over to the ribbons here, I would find remove column. This is a column and I want to remove it. So if I click on this, I would see remove column and I will also see remove other columns. So if I click this, I will be removing other table, other columns here aside this error, and that is not what I want. Okay, this is used for when you have multiple columns that you want to remove and just few columns you want to keep. You can select those tables you want to keep and click on remove for others. But in this case, I just want to remove this table. So I'll click on, I mean this column, I'll click on remove column. So I just remove the column. That is why I can see here that I have applied the step remove column. So that's it. So for me to leave this place, I have to save this transformation that I've made. Okay, so I will go over to this ribbon, the edge of this ribbon. I will see a close and apply. So I'll just click on the on this below, just below the arrow that you can see here. Then I'll see three options. Do I want to close and apply, or do I want to apply? Do I want to close? I explained that if I click on apply, I've applied this step, okay, but I will not close it. If I click on close, I did not apply this step, I just closed it. But what I want to do, I want to apply this step and I want to close it. So I'm clicking on it, and that's how to transform. So it will wait for a moment, and yeah, here we are. So I have successfully removed the error, the column that is of no use. Okay, so what's the next question, please?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Mute me. Mute me. I should go ahead. Okay. Am I audible? Okay, great. So to do that, let me just delete this relationship so that we can manually do it by ourselves. So because intelligence can easily detect the relationship, so we didn't do it manually, but let's just do it manually. I explained earlier, but I'm going to do the explanation again. So I started with what relates us as human is I started with what relates us as human, right? Is our surname, okay? Just the simple explanation. But in this context, right, is IDs that relate us. For products, we have product ID. For customers, we have customers ID. That's the identification of customers and products. And in all of this, we would find it in this sales table. This sales table is what we call our dimension table, right? Is a table that um every activity, the interaction with we have with our customers is stored. Okay, this product table is rarely changed, right? Maybe when we have new product, we can then update it, or when we no longer sell a product, we can choose to still leave it for maybe information purposes. Okay, the customer's information rarely change. Gender will not change. I know we have some clauses. um Customer type might change. Rarely we rarely do updates, but the main point is that the identification of a customer is unique. Okay, one customer cannot have multiple IDs, right? Or two customers cannot have same ID. Okay, products, the same thing. Two products cannot have same ID. So here in this product table, it's going to be unique. You only find one here. In this customer table, you only find one here, but in this sales table, because it is interaction based, I can come and make sales today 10 times, okay, and I would have my ID recorded here 10 times. The same as the product that is sold, I can sell 70 products, 70 one product 70 times. Okay, so I can find these IDs multiple times in this sales table. Okay, so that will now lead me to a one to many relationship, which is in this light we are creating a star schema. So how do we do this now? This is a product table. What will relate this product table to this sales table will be product ID. I'll come over here, I'll drag this product ID to this product ID and wait. It will open this prompt and it will tell me I'm doing a one to many relationship, and that is what I want. I want exactly this. I'm going to click OK. The same goes to this. What relates this customer table with this sales table is the customer ID. So I'll drag this to the customer ID. It will ask me the same thing. I'll just click on save. So that's how to relate this. And this is very important because if we don't relate this table, there will be no interaction. I will show us what this interaction looks like. Okay.
It's not.
Okay. What about me? I hope I'm audible myself. I hope I'm audible. I'm not sure. Well, I just hope I'm audible. Can you drop a response if you can hear me? Just say a yes so I can proceed. Okay, okay. I see I am audible. Okay. So next we would want to create our visualization. Okay. Usually that's not the case in reality. Sometimes we might do some calculations, okay, over here. Um we can say we want to know the total sales. We can say we want to know the total sales. We can say we want to know the profits. We can just create a column here to do some calculation, and the calculation is called is referred to as DAX. We can even create measures, right? um that would be a different topic because I do not want us to be overwhelmed. Okay. I would like us to take it step by step. If we have to create another series for that calculation and measure, just know that they exist. So we are just going to create visuals, right? And get few insights out of this. Okay. Okay, so let's go. But I would even like to ask, what are the suggested insights that we can get from this? Okay, let me assess our analytical skills, right? Let's say what we feel that we can give, which visualization we should do. What do you have in mind? Looking at this sales data, looking at this customer information, and looking at the products. So I'll give us, let's say, 30 minutes or 1 minute to think about the insights. So you have your view there. You can just play around with it, check different tables and see what insights you can give.
Someone has a question.
Okay.
Okay, so please just
Okay. Wetin be the question? Make relationship existing. Am I unmuted? Okay, I saw a question. How many type of relationship exists in Power BI? So you have the one to many and many to many. But ideally, the most accurate and advisable relationship is the one to many relationship. Okay, I hope that answers your question. So there are some cases that you might want to use many to many, but it has its own flaw. So we have to be careful when we are using it. We have to understand that that is what we are using when you are using many to many relationship. Okay, any further question? I asked the question, what are the insights that you can see looking at the information, looking at the data you have, even the one that is displayed here? What are the insights that you can suggest before I proceed?
customer ID list.
Okay, someone suggested um, customer ID with the highest what?
Layout.
With the highest loyalty. Okay, that would be saying that we are checking the top customers that have bought the most products. So we are checking order by quantity. That's a fantastic use case. That's a fantastic example. Okay, that's good. So if you have more insights, just drop it. Okay, but for me, or what I start with, I like to get this perspective of what I'm dealing with. So my first chat is usually I want to know the amount of customers I have first. I want to know how many products I have sold so far. I want to know how many unique products I have sold. I want to know how many orders I've gotten so far. I want to know how much I have made so far. So this will now even give like an overview, because if I'm a stakeholder and I'm coming in and I'm looking at the dashboard, my eyes will first of all pick that customers. Oh, so far we've had 10 customers. Ah, I thought we had less. I thought we had higher. Oh, so is this the money we've made so far? Okay, then I'll now start looking, oh, what has contributed to this money, which product has given us this money, which product gave us the profit, what year did we make the most sales, what is the peak period of our sales. All of those things will start creeping in gradually. So let's just take few steps to create just few dashboard. Okay, few charts. So like I said, I will be starting with card visuals. Okay, so this is where to get the card visual. There's this visualization plane here, and it's showing displaying all or most of the charts that you would need. Okay, so I just clicked on the card. What does the card do? It gives us a summary of what we have. Okay, I said I want to know how many customers so far we have, so I'm just scaling this to fit. Okay, so I'll go over to the customers table. That will give me all the customers we have so far. um so I click on it. I click on the customer ID. Notice what happened. Instead of me to see the total customer, I saw the first customer ID. This is how it comes, right? But do not panic when you find this. Just go over to this field, because as I click on this, after hold selecting the card, and I click on this, it opens this field part for me. Okay, in on this field part, um I can just select this arrow, and I want to get a distinct count of my customers. So I'll just click count distinct. So I see so far all of the noise is just 20 customers that are in our database. Okay, so even if I do a count here, I will still have 20 customers. If I do a distinct count, I will still have 20 customers. This is because, like I mentioned, the customer table, all the customer ID are unique, because only one customer has the same account, so it doesn't matter. But in the same way, if I copy this, because you can copy a card and paste it just like you do, I just did a control C and control V. Okay, I want to show us something. When I go over to our sales table and I do the same customer ID, okay, and I do count, just a count, you see I have 404 customers, right? This is not because we had 404 different customers. This is just because 20 customers bought multiple times, okay, that amounted to these 404 customers. So if I want to get the exact customers so far, I will do the distinct, and we see that all the customers in our database have bought in that instance. So that's the difference between an order, a sales table, which is a dimension table, and a fact table, which is the customer table. So let me unclick this, because I have no need for it again. Next thing I want to see how many quantity I've sold, or let me just say how much have I sold so far. So I will look for things that have to do with the amount. Okay, I do not have any amount here, so let me just go over to quantity. How many quantity I've sold so far? So I see that I have a sum of the quantity that I have sold. Okay, before I just take this my sum of quantity here, um okay, yeah, sum of quantity here, you see that so far I've sold over 11,000 quantity. This is a summary, right? This is not giving me the exact. If I want to know the exact, I would go over to this part, right? See this part I'm hovering around that says format your visual. I want to format it in such a way that I will get the exact value. I don't want the summary. So if I click on it, it will open this for me. So on the visual part, I have the call out value. So I'll click on it. I will go over here. I see display unit is on auto. I do not want that. I will select what I want. So I don't want it to give me any summary or whatsoever. So I'll click on none. So you see it has given me the exact quantity that have been sold so far. Okay. um what else do we need? So from this view we can still get the amount that is sold. Remember, we have the price. We have the price of the product sold. We can still do that, right? We can do that, but we are not doing that for now. Let's proceed with the others. um do you have questions? You have question? What's the question? Let me see. Okay, I see cardinality showing many to one instead. So when you say one to many, many to one, is the same thing, right? It just depends on the table you are referencing first. They are all the same thing. One to many, many to to one. So the difference you are saying when when there is a notable difference is when you are getting many to many. One to many depends on how it is. So let me show you what I mean by that. So you see this now, because this product is what I am that what is the first thing I'm talking about, I can say this is one to many. But in this one now, if I'm referencing this customer, I'm saying this is many to many. It just depends on the position. If I take this sales table to this other angle, it will be one to many. So they are the same thing, they will give the same output. Okay. It's just the position that it is, right? I hope it's clearer. Okay, so because of time, let's quickly proceed. So you see, I just gave the summary of another question. Okay, let's see the question. Okay, in the percentage discount column, there are some cells that are empty. Will it not affect the presentation, or should they be filled before proceeding? So, most of the time, you can it will not affect, depending on what you want to do, right? But in cases where it will affect, you can fill it with something, right? You can do a find or replace and fill it with what you want to fill. But depending on the calculation, it's likely not going to affect, or it can affect. So if you find out that it affects, you can just go over there and fill it with something. Maybe you're doing your DAX and you see that the zero is affecting. There are even DAX, you don't even need to touch it. There are DAX that will eliminate where there is zero and give you a value for that. Maybe this discount not applicable or something. Okay, so Power BI is very smart. You don't need to bother about that one. If there are errors, I would say we'll do a find and replace. And for empty cells, automatically you get the null value there. Okay, so if we try it and we see that it's affecting, we would address that. Okay, I hope that helps. So let's another question. Okay, okay, go ahead.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone.
Me too.
Please confirm you can hear me before I proceed. Okay. Yeah, I would like you to confirm you can hear me before I proceed. Okay, thank you for the confirmation. So I just wanted to add to what Peace said, how to handle missing values. Many people asked that question in the comments. I saw that many people asked it. So we have different ways of handling missing values, right, in data analysis or when cleaning your data. And Peace had already explained it. But there are some times that the first thing you do is to engage with the stakeholder. Let them help you understand the data. Okay, someone is saying they can that the volume is low. Please, can any other person confirm it is okay? Or do I have to shout? I don't think there is a need for me to shout, but I believe you can hear me. So, like I said, Peace had already given a very solid explanation. But there are some times that there are some other ways in which we handle missing values rather. Okay. Thank you, Tolulope, for confirming. So sometimes you engage with the stock. Okay, yeah, thank you. Fine, it's loud enough. Yes, I had to increase my voice. So, like I said, there are some times that you have to engage with the stakeholder, let them help you understand the data, so that you not just fill everything with 0 0 0 0 when it will just kill to. Yeah, thank you, Timothy, for that. So there are some times that it is very important for us to engage with the stakeholders. They understand the data, they know the customers they have, they understand the customer. So when you engage with them, when you listen to them, you'll be able to know what exactly you can do. It's possible that they intentionally did during the period of gathering the data. So it's possible that they intentionally left it open, which means it will be filled with zero. But there are some times that maybe it is the age of the customers. You can check for the mean, the average, right? That's the mean count of the age for that column. So depending on the kind of column it is, depending on the kind of data set, like I said, you have to engage with the stakeholders to better understand what they want and what the data is about. And there are some other times that, okay, if it is age, right? If it is age related, you can use medium. Sometimes you use, sorry, median rather. Sometimes you use median to fill the null values. Sometimes you use mean to fill the num values. Sometimes you use max to fill the null values. So it still depends on the kind of column that you are using for your analysis. Thank you. So please, if you have questions, please do not hesitate to ask in the comment section. I believe it has been very, very insightful. So please, if you have more questions, ask. We have very limited time. So, and I think we would be very fast right now. For those that came late, check the recorded session. I know you are going to enjoy it as well. So I think Peace should continue now. Yeah, thank you. And for those asking for the data set, check the WhatsApp channel. It's there. Everything is there. Yeah, thank you. Peace, please.
I want to quickly check that.
What?
I want to quick- Okay. Okay. So I'm back. Um, Esther shared some of the things you can do when you find a null value. But in this case, where we're talking about percentage discounts, maybe I'm assuming that is why it's always important to speak with your stakeholders. For this case, I'm assuming that there is no discount applicable or there's no discount applied here. That is why it is null. Okay, I'm looking at the table now. Let me just go over to transform and show you something real quick. Okay. Um, yeah, here we are on transform data. Um, and we're on the sales table. Where is the percentage discount? Here we have it. Do you see that here it's as null? We still have zero. Let's say that maybe they forgot to put zero for the ones that are not applied, okay, and you want to deal with it and it's affecting your calculation, okay, it's giving you error, okay, just click on this table. You see this arrow here, click on it. Sorry, click on this table, then right click. When you right click, you will see remove duplicate, remove error, replace value. That is what we want, right? So when I go over here and I put null and I ask it to find null values here and replace it with zero, okay, if I click on OK now, you notice a change. It has replaced all the null value to zero. Okay, that's if your stakeholder tells you that the reason why there is null there is because it's not applicable and they omitted putting null. That's when you can go ahead to do this. Then, like we said, you close and you apply. So that's how to fix it in this case. So here we have it. So I hope it's clear. So let's just proceed fast. We have the card view, and let's say we want to see a trend of the sales, how we have made sales so far. Okay, so I clicked on the line chart here and I scaled it how I want it to be, right? So I scaled it here and I'll go over here to say our dates. The date is in the sales table, so I click the order dates and I go over to, okay, I want to see how many products we sold during the other date. So I'm looking for the quantity. I click the quantity and I see this steep line, right? Suggesting that sales has decreased. Okay, these are arrows pointing to hierarchy. If you see here, when I selected the other dates, I have it in various hierarchy. I have it in years, months, date, quarter, and day. Okay, so if I want to drill down, I'll click on this arrow here. It will drill. Okay, I'm already down. So if I want to explain further, I'll just click on this arrow. So this is giving us a quarterly view of what's happening: first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter. Remember, this is cumulating both for 2022, 2024 and 2025, right? If I click on this arrow again, it will give me month wide. Okay, this is giving me from January, February, March to December. Okay, that is if it's what I want. If I click on this again, it will give me further. It will give me the days in the month. Okay, it's giving me the days in the month. Say, okay, maybe I want to see when I am making the most sales, which day I am making the most sales, and I see that this is the day I am making the most sales so far. So this drill down is just giving us the view. It depends on how I want it. I will set it up. Another way to do it is that you can go over to this x-axis here. Maybe I'm only particular about years, so I'll just unclick this quarter, month, and day and leave it at year. I just want to show my stakeholder that this is what is happening. From 2024, we are seeing that sales are declining. We have to investigate why sales are declining. If you notice, since we've been building this dashboard, I have not been focusing on the design and the whole aesthetics of how to make this dashboard beautiful, because usually all those things comes after you must have, or you might have gotten the insight you want to give. Then you can now start beautifying your dashboard, make it look appealing and interesting for your stakeholders to use. That is not our major concern here. We want to get the insights first before we say, okay, how do we arrange this so far? So I'm just going to scale this to permit us more. I remember someone suggested an insight that we want to see the customer with the highest, our loyal customers, maybe customers that has gotten a lot of items from us. Okay, and the best chart to describe that would be the bar chart. So I'm going to click on a bar chart here, and I'm going to go over to customer ID, and I'll go over to quantity sold. So this is what we have, because there are a lot of information, right? That is why it's much. Ideally, it's not good to leave your dashboard this way. It's not appealing to the eyes. It's training the eyes. So if you want to know your loyal customer, of course, you will be only particular about the major customers that are doing the most. So I would want us to limit this to just the top 10 customers. So how do we do this, right? We will filter this to show us top 10 customers. If you look around here, you will see something that is spelling the word filter. Okay, so if I click on this arrow here, I would see all of this view here to allow me to filter what I want to do. Okay, so I want to filter the customer ID by quantity sold. Okay, so I will just click this icon here, and I'll select the type of filter I want to do. So I want to do a top n filter. This top n filter is just restricting the view to our top customers or our bottom customers. So for the bottom customers, we'll select later, but for this we have it at top. If we want to see the bottom customers, that's the customers that are doing the least, I'll select bottom. But what we want to do in this case is the top customers. So if I select top, what is the range? I just want the top 10 customer, so I'll put top 10. Whatever value I put here is what is going to limit it by. Okay, so I want to see the top 10 customers that are doing the most. Okay, so next I would want to drag a field to this value by. So I'm judging this top 10 customer by the number of products they've bought over time. So I will go over here to drag my quantity here. Okay, then I would click on apply. You see something has changed. We now have this limited to 10. Let's count it: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In some cases you would see more than 10 here, right? In this case we didn't see that. Whenever you do that in a visualization and you see more than 10, do not panic, you did the right thing. The thing is just that maybe two customers share the same value. Let's say a customer did 70 and another customer did another 70. Both customer will attain is the same position. They might be in the second place. Okay, that will mean that you might not have more than 10 top customers, but most of the customers are sharing the same space. But in this instance we do not have that. Okay, this is just a few insights that I generated because of time. Let me quickly show us how to design this dashboard a bit, so that when we are practicing we can give a final output to it before I go over to the tips. Okay, so if you want to design your dashboard, all of these parts here, the visualization part is divided into three components. This is for forecasting, is for future analysis. We are not going to touch that. It's another level of that is above introduction to Power BI. Okay, so if we want to beautify and make our dashboard appealing, this is the part we'll be working with, the format, your visual. Okay, here you can you will see visuals and generalize. For this visual, you have things about the values, the color value for the card, right? Let me move to bar charts. Okay, hold on. For bar charts, if you click on the visual, you see how to format your x-axis. You know, this is the x-axis and this down here is the y-axis. I can choose whatever font I want, the size I want to label it. If I'm increasing this, see what's happening, it is increasing depending on how I want it. Okay, um I would show you more. If I want to change the color, maybe I do not want to use this black color as the text, I can choose to change the color. I can make this bold here. Okay, then I can choose to minimize the width. See what's happening. Okay, it's not changing, but there are some changes happening here that we can't see now, so I'm just going to proceed. um I can choose to give this my chart a title. When I click here, I'll just say top 10 customers customers by quantity. So see what happens. I've given it a title that will appear here. You can see it here, right? But that's not where I would want to give my title here. I'll just give it a name. Let me say customer ID will be what still going to put a header for it. Let me say customer ID here. So this I've given it a title. This is just me labeling it. There are a whole lot of things you can do. You can move over here to if you go down, you will see data label. If you notice, all the visuals I've been preparing in the trend line, the bar charts, I've not been giving it a label. For me to do that, I'll just have to turn on this. So see what happens now that I've turned this on. There's a label here, though it's not so obvious for now, but I can make it very obvious by clicking on this button here and scale it how I want it to be. So series, what type of label do I want, all of it, the position that I want it to be inside at the center. So now I have it inside at the center. I believe it's clearer now for the view. So I have this label. I can choose to select the color I want. Let me give it another color. um yeah, this is not for the label, this is for the title, sorry. um Label, let me drag this. I'll drag this down. There's an option for position, there's an option for value. That is where I can change the color. I don't want it to be this color, I want to give it another color. I've given it another color. Let's say I want to give it a color that is red, something that would show very well. So I gave it this color. I can make it bold. This color is not even very obvious to me. I can choose another color that would be best to. I think white is actually the best, right? I was just trying to show us how we can do it. For this instant, white is the best. Okay, that is what I can do here. There are other things I can do. You see bar charts here. Maybe I do not like the color of the bar chart. I have a theme color I want to follow. Maybe the company's color is purple or any color. I can just come over here and change this bar chart to fit the color so far. So I have this color. You can also do the same for this as well. Change the color. um let's click on this. I go over here. I come over here too. I just drag this pen a bit further. um this would give me the same view I have for my bar charts, right? I can change whatever I want to change here. My x-axis, I'm looking for the line because that is the color I want to change. So if I go and click on my line, I will just drag this a little bit. I can choose whatever style I want. If I want dotted, I click on dotted. If I want it to be metered, I will click on meter. If I want any shape, I'll just click on it. Do I want it to be linear or do I want it to be like a step shape? I'll click on it depending on the view of what I want. All of this to just give it a view, um or a view that would be attractive and tell a story. And it is best not to do too much, right? Just give it something that would describe what you want to do. Okay, it's not based on just designing and all of those things. It is the insight that your stakeholder will understand and make meaning. Also, it is important to label, always label your visualization, because graph is good but it doesn't really give every information without labeling. So in that case, I will be turning on my label. So I just did, and you can see that it is now labeled. I can choose to give it a different color as I want. I can choose to give it anything I want, right? Another important thing that I have not mentioned that sets Power BI apart is the filters and sorters, right? You see, all of these things is just the summary that I have given. How do we know the particular product that was sold? How do we know the age group that bought it? How do we tell, okay, which gender sold all these things? From this information, we cannot see that, but a filter can help us to get that information. In that case, I'm just going to scale down a bit, and we will create few filters so that we can see informations granularly, more granular. There are questions, okay? What was the question while I prepare the filter? Okay, get the questions ready, please.
I forgot the name of that.
Okay, what is slides are used for? Okay, someone is asking what is slides are used for. This is a slicer. When I mention filters, yes, most people call it slicer. um I'm used to calling it filters because it helps me to filter what I want to see. But if you see here, it's called slicer. It's the same thing that I'm talking about. That slicer will give you a granular view of the data. So that is what we are doing now. This is the slicer. If I click on it here, it has appeared here. So I want to get to see the customer type. So I'm just going to click on customer type here. um I can duplicate this to save time. I copy this, I'm pasting a whole lot of it because I'm going to be creating multiple filters with regards to what we are doing now. So I've created a lot of filters so far that we'll be editing. Okay, so I haven't even started and things are changing. And note that without the relationship that we have built in our model view, there will be no interactivity of any sort of our slicers. So it is this that powers that change, that we can even filter from this table and it will affect this table. If this connection wasn't done, there is no way it will be affected. Okay, so here we have the filter for customer type. I'm going over here, I'm going to change this to age group. So I'll go over here, I'm going to change this filter to maybe a gender filter. um let's see something around products. So I'm going to go over here, I'll change this to a products, um let me say product category. Okay, if you see now we have different filters, but to make this interesting and less space occupying, I'm going to change the type of this filter. How do I do this? I will go over to this format your visual as usual. I'll go over here, I'll click on my slicer and I would go to slicer setting. This is a vertical list slicer. I don't usually prefer this because it occupies a lot of space, right? So I'll choose a drop down. You see what happens? It has reduced my slicer. Okay, I can scale it to fit so it doesn't occupy spaces and cause noise. I don't want my customer to focus on my filter. I want them to focus on the insight I'm trying to give. Okay, so you can still have all those information. When you click this drop down, you would see what you want to select by. It's still here, but now I can choose to close this. I will do the same for all of this, and the fastest way to do that is to just click on this, see your format paint over here, click on it and use it to touch all the filter that you have made so far. So let me do it again. Click on this, use it to touch this. It will change. My system is keeping. Just click on it. It's not changing. I don't know why for now, but let's just go over and do it manually to save time. So I'll do the same thing I did. Drop down, come to this place and do the same thing. I'll click on drop down, come to this place. I'm doing the same thing. Okay, another important filter that I would like to add to this visualization is the date, because I want to get to see within a period when something happened. Okay, so I will create another um slicer here for my dates. okay, which I just did now. It's just simple. I will go over to my date column. Where do I have a date column? Is in my sales table. So I'm clicking the order date here. So I have it this way and I like it the way it is because I can choose to scale it by just sliding this um pin here. I can drag it to this side as I want depending on the date, and this will give me a range of dates between here to here. Okay, as I'm moving it, is you can see something is changing on that date. It is telling me the range of date it is giving me. Okay, if I don't want to do it this way, I can choose to select this a calendar view and just select the date that I want it to be within the range. Okay, let's say I want it to start from here and stop from here. It will just give me all of those view. Like I said, our focus is not to beautify this, but I have shown us ways we can beautify it. There are still a lot of things we can do to beautify it, but we are more concerned about the functionality of our dashboard. Maybe we would have a section for just designing and making your dashboard more appealing. So in the coming days or months, right? We'll be able to do that. Maybe that will be our focus, but this is our focus now. We've gotten a little insight. We know our top customers. You can choose to change all of this information and put a perfect description for all of this. That is good. But here is the important thing that is happening in this dashboard now, that we have created a slicer. If I want to see the customer type, now let's say I want to see this information based on the distributors I have in my portfolio. I will click on this distributor and you see there's a change that have happened. I see that I only have 8 customers that are distributors, and I see that the cumulative um amount of product they've bought is this, right? I can see the trend that we are still having declining sales over time. Okay, we have to still investigate this. Is it because the data stopped sometime in 2025, and we still have more days to check whether you are doing better? We can also see that our top 10 distributors are this, right? One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We can see this. We can see the sum, the quantity that they've bought so far. We can see the time. We can also go over here to say retail. We are seeing the information of the retail. We are seeing the top customers in our retail bracket, and we are seeing the quantity that they've bought so far, and we are seeing all of this information with regards to that. Also, we have the age group. We can decide to see, okay, what our 55 plus are doing here. We see the amount of customers we have. We just have 5 of those customers. We see the gender, who our who how many females are our customers. We see majority of our customers are male customers. Could it be that male are more interested in doing business with us? Is it that our business is not tailored to favor female, or is it just the market size we have? All of this we can then investigate. We can go over to see the categories of products that are doing well. Okay, we see food, we see toiletries, we see cleaning, and from this we can see that our cleaning product is doing better. So we can give more insights. Or why is our food product not doing better? Is it that they do our customers do not know that we have this? Do we need to put more of our money in our cleaning products, because that's where we have most of the customers? These are the questions we can now then go ahead to do. This is just a little bit of what we can do with this data. There are a whole lot of things. If we start analyzing this information here, we will not live here today. Ideally, a dashboard is not something you just build within 5 minutes. It's something you take time and build. It could take days, it could take minutes, depending on what the insight is that you want to get. Another thing I have not mentioned is the page, right? Because we do not want to cram our dashboard, which is a common mistake that most of us do. We just build everything on one page. Your stakeholders can go to different page. It's just like a book. When you see a first page, you turn to see the other page so that it will be clearer. Imagine if you have a note and you are writing every information you want to pass in one page. You know how hectic it will be to see that. It wouldn't even make sense. You might not be able to draw out the information that you intended to see at the end of the day. That is why pages are important. You can click on this plus sign to add different pages to your reports. It's endless. You can just keep on adding and making your visuals to be clear. I can decide to just move only my trend to this page and move only this to this page, right? It's not how much of visuals you have in a page that tells a good dashboard. It is the information that is clear. The clearer the information, the more useful the insight, the more impactful the insight, the more adoptable the insight is. That is what your stakeholders are looking at. Ideally, this your page one is supposed to be maybe your home page where you describe what this dashboard is about. Then the next page is supposed to be your summary, which look like what we did here. Then the other page will now be a deeper analysis, maybe trying to explain why something is happening, and the other page would be like that. Okay, one thing I would like to show us before I take questions, and then maybe go over to the tips that I want to show us, is another approaching or another essential step when you want to design your dashboard. Like I mentioned, this dashboard is not even near designed, right? It's not, we can't associate design with this. What we are talking about in this context is the functionality and the main insights that you're generating and how to plot it. But with this little knowledge, you'll be able to build your own dashboard, right? And you will be able to design it. Okay, so if I want to go further to design my dashboard, I'll use this as an example to show us. I can go, so see, I just clicked on the bar chart. I can go over to this format your visual. When I click on it, I go over to general. Okay, so here I would have the option to give my dashboard a title. I can say top 10. Okay, in a moment. I will say top 10 customers by quantity. You see what just happened now. This now have a header and it is more descriptive. Okay, I can choose to um change the color of the background, maybe to highlight it, which I just did. You might use a better color. I can choose to change the text to white to make it very clear. So this is the whole aspect of designing your dashboard to make it clearer. So I'm not choosing the any special color here because, like I mentioned, that's not the focus. But you can play around with the color, the best color you want to give your dashboard. Okay, and I can even choose to let me just close this title part. I can choose to go to my property, choose the height, the size, the position where I want everything to be here. I can do that here. I can even go to my effects. Maybe I want to give this a bold color. I don't want the background to be white. Maybe I want it to be red, which I don't see the case for that. I'll just leave it at white, but you get the point I'm trying to make. I can decide to make this background transparent. Maybe I have something underneath this dashboard, maybe a picture here, and I want it to reflect here. I will just make the background transparent. Okay, I can go further to say I want this dashboard to this view to have a border. I will turn on the border. See what's happening now. It now has a border at the edge, right? I can choose to give the border a color. Let's say I want this border to be one funny odd color here. Let me say yellow, if that is what people are into. I can choose to change the shape to a rounded shape. I can increase the corner of it. See what happens now. The shape of this dashboard has changed. You see, it's now looking like what we see, what we usually see on people's visualization. Okay, let me go back there. I can choose to add a shadow. Okay, when I go to the effect, I can drag this. I just want this dashboard to pop. I can choose, you see, I've added a shadow. I can choose the color of the shadow. Maybe I want the color to be yellow or something, or any color, right? So you can do that gradually for all of your dashboard. And again, I can just use this format to make my other dashboard to look the same way. So I can do that for all of my dashboards, so I don't have to repeat the process if I'm using the same theme here. But you have to be careful because it will affect the dashboard. You see, because I use this format plane to format this, it has turned the value for this to white, just like this value is. And because the background is white, we no longer can see the chart. So I'm just going to go back and change the color back to a black. Okay, that is why we have to be careful. See, it's taking shape now. If I continue with this, before we are through, we have a very fine dashboard that a user can easily adapt to. But like I mentioned, this is not the focus of what we are doing here. So we are going to leave it at this for now. So I'll take questions, then we'll move on to tips because of time. Okay, go ahead. Show me the questions you have.
Which one person?
I encountered an issue when I was visualizing map. We didn't want to be visualized. Okay, the reason is because you need to set up your desktop for you to visualize map. You cannot just visualize a map without setting it up. So downloading Power BI doesn't give you that functionality. You have to go over to your file here. um you will see options here, right? Just like I'm seeing options, you click on options and setting. It should be somewhere around here. So I just clicked on options. I'm waiting for it to be displayed. Okay, it's taking time, but it's going to come up. Yes. So we have this here. There are a lot of things around here. You just have to look for what you are looking for. So because we are trying to visualize a map, there is a part that speaks to allowing you to connect to map. I think it's somewhere around here. I'm not sure. It's been a while I did these settings, but you will find it around this file. Mm, maybe regional settings, might not be regional settings, somewhere around here. Something around allow GP something. I'm not sure the exact for now, but you have to click that. It's going to be mapped directly to your geographical region. That's what keeps the map to function. I don't want to waste time on checking this. Global is in global function. It should be somewhere around here. Maybe security. Um, Go down here. Yes, this is what I am looking for. So I found it in security. You have to allow this and map and fill map visuals. So if you do not allow all of this, it will not work for you. Okay, so you have to allow this before you can start using your map function. So you can go ahead and try that. If you have a data that speaks to geographical information, you can plot it. But for this data, we do not have that. We would have checked to see whether that would work. I hope that helps you now to get it done. Okay, any other question before we proceed? What was the question? I'm sure you can hear me. It seems Esther's mic is not properly connected. She's trying to fix it. So I'll just proceed. Um, so next, let's assume that we are done with all the visualization that we've done. We would want to give this information to our stakeholder, right? Ideal, yeah, ideally you publish it to a cloud service. That's like similar to sending your information via email, not exactly the same concept, but just something similar to that. They would have access to that dashboard via what we call Power BI service. Another way is that you can just export your file, right? You can save it as, export it to whatever version, could be a PDF version, just, or you download it and send it to your stakeholders. Okay. I don't know if there are questions. Maybe I should just move on to the tips. Maybe we'll take the questions last. We'll take the question after that. Okay, so let's go over to the tips. Okay. Okay, here we are. Tips on what to avoid in Power BI dashboard creation, design, covering design, performance, and data practice. I know some of the things that we see with people that are starting out at data analysts is a whole lot of things that are not needed. You can even tell when you see someone that is just starting out, because they are eager to show you all the types of visualization. I know when I started, I was tempted to do that. I always want my charts, my dashboard to have pie charts, bar charts, every of the chart I can see, customized charts. I just want it to be there because I believe that that shows that I'm a good um business intelligence analyst. I know how to use all those charts. I will use complicated DAX so that I can show that I know how to do these things. But that's not what we want here. So a simple 1 plus 1 that will give the accurate answer that will be more optimized for the performance of your dashboard is better than going through various DAX just to arrive at what a simple 1 plus 1 can do. That's just an example of some of the things. So we are going to be seeing it in line of process and development. Okay, so if you want to build a dashboard for a stakeholder, or you want to even do an analysis, the first thing you should do is to plan. And most times we do not do that. We just jump right into, oh, there is data, let's start building, let's start, okay, what are we doing? We don't even know what we are doing. We are just trying to build anything we see. Okay, we do a card here, we do a this here. But no, that's not the right approach. Before diving straight, you have to understand what is happening here. Okay, what is the plan? Who are your audience? What are they after? What should you be showing them? What will make this dashboard efficient? First, you understand your audience. So I'm to create a to develop a dashboard that will give my audience that is in a food business an insight. Okay, so I already identify, okay, things around food. Okay, what would my audience be interested in? This would advise me the data that I will be looking for. Are they looking for places they can sell the data, where their customers are coming from, the best food they eat, food they order? All of those things will be in my plan. Okay, and knowing my audience will even allow me to know the design that I would use. Okay, the KPI that I will set, I will ask them, what is your key performance indicator? What shows that you are doing well? What would happen in this business that will tell you that this business is not moving to the right direction? We need to re-strategize. These are the questions that you would have in your planning. Then another mistake is ignoring the user feedback, right? You're not interacting with your stakeholders. You are just building your dashboard in isolation. Even when you have interacted with your stakeholders to say, okay, this is what is needed, don't just shut your stakeholders out during the process. There are times when, based on your analysis, you go back to the stakeholders and ask questions to get more input, to get more light on how to tailor your dashboard and how to get insight and how to build your report. And whatever they give you, don't ignore it. It is their business. As much as we have the power to analyze, they still have the domain knowledge, especially when we are not domain analysts. We are just an analyst trying to build something for our stakeholders. We should always listen to what they have to tell us so that it will advise us in the best design we'll give them. Okay, next mistake that we see is using inconsistent naming convention. And if we do your findings and your planning well, I think you should have that in control. When you are naming a column or you are naming a visual, you should use some you should use information that would not confuse you, names that will not confuse you. If you are writing a DAX, because it's true, it happens. You can write a DAX and a measure, and you come back tomorrow, you don't even know what that measure is for, because you are just using a placeholder. Maybe you just did customer AX, you didn't define it. Dashboard might take a while. Even after a while, you might need to visit your dashboard. And this is what usually happen when you are the custodian, you are the manager, you are even the builder of a dashboard, and after 3 months there's a optimization problem, or there's an issue that you need to come back to work on the dashboard, but you are confused by your dashboard that you have built. This is because you didn't plan, or the builder did not plan um on the naming convention, on the arrangement, and they get confused by their own development. So all of these things we need to put in place before we just jump into building the dashboard. Another one we have to consider is the design and user experience. Like I mentioned, that we have many pages, right? If you know there are a lot of insights you want to share, start by telling a story. Give an overview of the dashboard. Say, okay, this is what we are telling, this is an insight page. Click more for more view. That's where you use the buttons and the bookmark. I didn't go deep into that, but if we are having another section, we'll pick all of this gradually, right? Not for us to be overwhelmed, right? So that we will move step by step and grow in this Power BI thing. Okay, so we are not supposed to overload our dashboard with visuals. We should use appropriate visuals in places where a simple card will do the description. Let's use that simple card. In places where table will do that, let's just use a table. Let's not use a trend line for where we should use a bar chart. Okay, let's know the particular type of data graph to use for different information. If you are showing a category data, we are using a bar chart. If you are showing a data that speaks to trend events that occurred over time, we know that the best approach is a line chart, except we are trying to compare two period, maybe in 2024, 2025, 2026, or preceding, or years before. We can now say, okay, let's use a category chart, which is like a bar chart, to see, oh, this is what is happening. But if it's something that we are going to be watching over time, then we have to go with a trend line. Creating clutters or inconsistent designs. Okay, the chart that I just created, an example is that you see the colors. I wasn't particular about the color, right? You need to use consistent color. If you are using a business team, let's say their color is red and black, you have to build that dashboard in a way to speak to that theme. Don't come and add another color that will throw the user off, except maybe you are highlighting something positive, maybe you're highlighting it as green. The way you will state it, it would show that that is what you are trying to present. Okay, next is presenting data without context. Not every information is relevant. The fact that you have that in the data that was shared to you doesn't mean that it needs to be presented. If it doesn't make any meaning in that instance, if it's not going to add value, there is no need of including it in your visualization. It's just going to cram your data and your visualization, reduce productivity, and even reduce efficiency of your dashboard. So let's just stick to what matters. Okay, another common mistakes that should be avoided is poor or missing labels, right? It's always important to label your users, your stakeholders, and not you, right? You might see the bar chart, you can tell that this is higher, this is lower. Most of them are not that tech savvy, or they're not data literate like that. Okay, So you have to consider them. In some cases, you might not even need to do a chart. You can just do a word text, yes, a visual that is like a text telling them things. They call it dynamic text. The text changes, so the value will change in the text. I didn't have time to show us that. Maybe our next class I will show you how to do that. These are for stakeholders that don't know how to interpret charts. You just use a simple text that is dynamic, that changes when value changes, to show them what you want to show them. Okay, so moving on, let's take a look at performance and data modeling tips that we need to follow. So sometimes we find ourselves using poor data modeling, like many to many, or we are linking um, um, a customer ID to another thing that looks like a customer ID. It will link. You are the one directing it, though it's not where it should go. It will link. It won't throw you an error. So you have to be careful. If I model customer ID to product ID, I might still get a link. It might not show any error, but the data that I'm passing at the end, the information, the insights that I'm showing my stakeholder at the end, is it accurate? No, it's not accurate. Another one is overusing calculated columns. And to be honest, this temptation we usually fall into it, especially after we are done with our DAX class. So we have a lot of information about DAX to use. We just keep on trying different DAX. There are some DAX that you don't even need it at the first place. The slicer would take care of that. Let's say you want to check the average customers, um the average product that customers have bought. You know, you don't need to create a DAX for that. You'll be able to create that as a visual, right? Or sometimes you want to see customers that bought only an item. Why write a DAX for that when you can just select that item in your slicer and see the customers that bought that particular item? If you keep on writing many DAX, remember it takes up processing power. It will make the dashboard to lag in updates. Even when your stakeholder open it to view, it will keep rolling. You know that rolling thing it does, like you'll be waiting. It will increase the wait time, and it's frustrating. Your stakeholder wants an information and it's taking over 30 minutes or 10 minutes to just open a page. That is why we need to consider using the simplest DAX, except there is no other way to get it. That is when you should consider the DAX or complex DAX. Okay, using insufficient DAX is in line with what I just said. Ignoring reduction settings. I mentioned something like that. Um, Query reduction settings are slicers, are just simply changing your type of data to maybe a sum, an average, or what you want, rather than going over to repeat what a slicer can give to you. All of this would impair on your functionality, on the dashboard functionality. Okay, implementing too many visuals on page. That is why we have the option to add more pages. So instead of us to be adding many visuals on one page to cram it, it's not ideal, especially when those charts that we are creating are charts that makes a lot of noise. When I mean a lot of noise, I mean they have a lot of um, things that will be calling for your attention. Okay, things like having a bar chart, a line chart, a table, a donut chart. There's this decision tree chart. You are trying to fuse them into one page, just so that you just snap a page or maybe show your stakeholders that view. The best idea is to create a summary and stylishly tell them to click a button for more visual. Then you spread that visual across different page so that it will be like a story. It's telling them a for questions, so that we can address it before we call it a day. Thank you.
So let me try. I need to add you to the stage first. Okay, please confirm you can hear me now. Can you hear me? Am I audible? You still can't hear me. Okay, you still cannot hear me. I feel you should be able to hear me now. Okay, okay, okay. Thank you so much. Okay, yeah, I think that's better. That was an amazing session. It was wonderful. It was very insightful piece. I believe we all, yes, yes. Thank you for confirming that. I believe every one of us learned something new today. Even those that are in the advanced level, I so much believe they learned a lot of things because Peace listed out some tips that would help those that know how to use DAX, those that use DAX a lot. She listed out some tips, some best practice tips that would help to do better. Yes, yes. Thank you for the confirmation. Yes, yes, yes. It was an amazing session. Thank you so much, Peace, for this session. Please let's give her a round of applause. Let's give her a round of applause. Let's appreciate her. Let's appreciate her. This is a free session. We did not pay anything, but she took a time to break it down for us. We really, really appreciate it. Peace. Thank you so much for this session. We sincerely appreciate it. So now before we wrap up, because it's time already, I did say earlier that I had something special for those who stayed till the end, and I know that we can't really wait to hear that. I really do not want us to talk so much already because I know we've learned so much and our brain is already filled up with a lot of insights, a lot of tips, a lot of things. And I believe that some of us will even go back to the recorded session to also rewatch it and to practice. Please make sure you post it. Let people know what you have done. This is something I tell people every time. Anytime you have a session like this, anytime you learn something, please ensure that you practice it and ensure that you share it with people. Let them see what you have done. I hold coaching sessions, and in these sessions, I tell them that when you don't post about the things you are doing, people will not know what you are doing. But when you talk about the things you are learning, you talk about the projects that you've done, you never can tell who is watching. A recruiter can see what you've done and then do what? Employ you. I usually tell them about a lady who just learned how to automate some processes. She posted it on LinkedIn, and what she did was that someone saw what she posted and gave her 3 month contracts. That's something that she was not expecting, and it's because she posted it. And that's why I always advise people that whenever you do things like this, please ensure that you post it, ensure that you share it with your network, because you never can tell who is watching, and it helps you to also teach others, because when you teach others you learn 2 times. And I so much believe that you learned a lot of things. Please, I would expect everyone to post what you've learned, to post about it, to do the practice yourself. You can even do a video recording. You can record it and post it on LinkedIn. Let people see it. Remember to tag me. Remember to tag Peace. We are going to repost it so that many other people can also see it. Yeah, so that's that about that. So, like I said before we wrap up, I said earlier that I had something special for those who stayed back till the very end. And so here is it. It's a token of appreciation for staying through this session. We had over 70 people who joined the session, but right now we have about 30 plus, almost 40 people. They are still joining at probably his network, joining till the very end. So as a token of appreciation for staying through the session, I'm going to be giving 50% off my book, but just between today and tomorrow. Just between today and tomorrow. Yeah, so normally I don't do it, but I just thought, okay, because I wanted to appreciate you guys for staying through. We spent over 3 hours on this call, and you guys are still here to the very moment. So it is my little way of saying thank you for being part of this live session, right? And for constantly learning and growing. I appreciate you all. So I'm going to be dropping the link right after this so that you can check the comments once we end the session. Remember that on Monday or next week, ensure that you post what we've done. Tell us about what you've learned. Tell us about the key notes that you got from this session, right? Yes, please tell us about those things. And once again, I appreciate every one of you for coming. Please do have a blessed Saturday. Thank you for spending your Saturday with us. Keep learning, keep growing, and I will see you in our next session. Our next session might be coming up next 2 weeks. I'd already planned with another fantastic person who would be handling another session, but it is going to be on Python. So some of you may not really want to learn Python. Yeah, I hope you can hear me. Yeah, so we are also going to be having it. We're also going to be, Peace also promised us some sessions. Yes, she promised us some sessions, but we don't know when. So we are going to collaborate on it and get back to every one of you. If you have not joined the WhatsApp channel, please join this channel so that you get acquainted with the things we are doing, so that you will not miss out on any session like this, right? And also subscribe to this YouTube channel. I created a playlist, no, a series where I will be showing you how to install all your environment. And I believe some of you have read the welcome message already. So I'm going to be showing you how to install all these environments so that by the time we have sessions like this, it will be easy for you to start working immediately. And that's it about that. So subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell so that you will not miss out on anything. If you haven't, I know many of you we are connected on LinkedIn already. Stay connected on LinkedIn as well. Please connect with Peace. You can reach out to her for any Power BI tutorials. She's ready for that, but with payment is not free, of course. So please reach out to her. She's ready to assist you. She will break each concept down for you, right? I'm sure you enjoyed this session already. And trust me, the paid session will be far, far better than this one. So please connect with her on LinkedIn. I'm also going to be sharing the link below so that you can reach out to her, right? And she also has a YouTube channel called Tech Oli, right? We're also going to be sharing the link as well to this link. I'm also going to be sharing the recorded session link to an email. I believe I have all your emails. I'll be sending a recap, an email tonight, so that you all will get it and are out, you can connect with her. Once again, thank you so much everyone for joining this session. Before you leave, please ensure that you copy the book link so that you'll be able to buy it now before the discount closes, right? The discount window closes, and it's just for you guys, just for the 34 people on this call. These are the people that are only eligible for it. So thank you very much everyone for joining. Please enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Bye. Thank you everyone. You can still appreciate peace in the comment section, no problem. Please keep appreciating her, giving her your online claps. You can see it. Thank you so much everyone. Appreciate you for coming. Bye.